Diversity, equity and inclusion is a cancer in Britain, and you'd have thought that by now this sort of stuff would have been stamped and rooted out of our institutions, but no, it continues, and it not only continues through our education system, our police force, but also now in our prisons. I requested information. The original request was for DEI, unconscious bias and anti-racism training materials across UK prisons. That one got refused on cost grounds, so we thought we would go to Belmarsh. And I asked, what training manuals are we using for officers that are stationed there in Belmarsh? And from 2023 January to the present, I asked only for actual training materials, whether that be presentations, handbooks, manuals, but nothing else. The response came back in 2026, nearly a year later. The MOJ confirmed they hold 2 PowerPoint presentations produced by Belmarsh, in particular the equalities team, but they attached both to the response and 2 separate presentations. The first one being general diversity and inclusion from the equalities team. The second one's a specific presentation on deaf people in prison. Now, these are the actual materials being used in training staff at HMP Belmarsh. I don't even know whether it's serious or not. I mean, you start off serious with this corporate-looking diversity and inclusion opening, but then as you scroll through the slideshow, it looks like they're taking the piss. If I'm totally honest, it looks like they're taking the absolute piss, which is a good thing, really, if they are. But at the same time, this is what we're teaching our prison officers. It goes through the Equality Act 2010, as we know, where it legally protects people from discrimination in the workplace and in wider society. It goes through prohibited conduct and talks about how the Act is not allowed to discriminate, harass or victimise another person if they have any of the protected characteristics. It goes through the 9 protected characteristics on one particular slide. It gives a brief overview on age, disability, gender reassignment is one of them, marriage and civil partnerships, pregnancy and maternity, race, religion or belief, very broad, sex, sexual orientation, and then it goes on to strands, linking our thinking. You can see a tree there. I mean, just look at the absolute state of this. I mean, I'm so bored. I don't know about you, I'm so bored of it. I'm actually, whenever I see DEI training manuals or see what they're actually teaching people in the workplace, I know I've got people, friends, close friends, and family and relatives that have to go through all this bullshit. And I don't know how they get on with it. I don't know how they get on. It's got another slideshow all about diversity. Diversity is any dimension that can be used to differentiate groups and people from one another. In a nutshell, it's about empowering people by respecting and appreciating what makes them different in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, disability, sexual orientation, education, and national origin. Nothing about opinions. Diversity allows for the exploration of these differences in a safe, positive, and nurturing environment. It means understanding one another by surpassing simple tolerance to ensure people truly value their differences. This allows us both to embrace and also to celebrate the rich dimensions of diversity contained within each individual and place positive value on diversity in the community and in the workforce. Yeah, well, it was the same diversity that got Henry Novak killed, actually. It's the same diversity that we've seen that have raped and tortured hundreds of thousands of white, working class, British, English girls across this nation. That's what diversity actually does to a nation. They've got another slide here about inclusion. Diversity, staff networks and inclusion. Rise, racial inclusion and striving for equality. It's got something on Dawn. You don't have to be LGBTI plus to support LGBTI plus inclusion. That's PIPP, Pride in Prison and Probation. So you've got all the networks here operating as one. To berate staff, to tell you must follow the message, you must follow this, otherwise there will be consequences. It's got a thing here on supporting our transgender colleagues. I don't know the actual statistic of how many transgender people there are, but you know, they have their own specialised group. Can't say anything bad, can't say anything mean, otherwise that's it. Your pension, your job, can't get more work, nothing, can't even say anything. What's strange about this though, this is what I wanted to bring you on. In the same presentation, is this. How do you banter? This goes on from talking about diversity, equality, and inclusion. How do you banter? There's a whole section on describing what is banter. It says banter is a form of playful conversation or teasing. When done well, it can be a lot of fun. It's important to be clear on what banter is not. It isn't trading insults, putting someone down, or an excuse for being mean. It's a two-way interaction between people who see themselves as equals. No, it's not. Banter is another word for piss-taking. And in the male sphere, especially, banter is a way to really get to know someone. It's a way of bonding. You take the piss out of someone and they take the piss out of you back. And really, banter is about finding out where the red line is. It's a risky interaction that humans do. And the point of it is to push boundaries. There was something, I believe, not too long ago, it might have been last year, about the Labour government looking to criminalise banter in pubs, which is insane, obviously. But guess what? They're doing it in prisons. If you're a prison officer, you're having to be browbeaten and taught how to banter. So you've got three types here. Friendly banter. There's no intention to hurt and there's no intention to hurt and everyone knows the limits. No, we don't. There's ignorant banter here, where you cross the line with no intention to hurt and will often say sorry. And then you have malicious banter, done to humiliate a person, often in public. Why is banter an important social skill? Well, that's good that they at least acknowledge that. The main purpose of banter is to make or deepen a connection between you and another person. True. If you watch a group of friends interact, you'll probably hear a lot of banter. In general, the better you know someone, the safer it is to tease them. Therefore, banter is a sign of intimacy and trust because it requires quick thinking and wit. Bantering makes you come across as intelligent and interesting. Actually got a picture here of Paddy McGuinness saying banter. So they're using memes now and some weird, I don't know, word art that you get on the old 2009 PowerPoint presentations. How to banter. Always use a friendly tone and body language. Your words and non-verbal communication need to align when you banter. Specifically, your tone of voice, facial expressions, and gesture all need to make it clear that you're joking around. Otherwise, you might come across as rude or socially inappropriate. Don't banter unless you know someone. It's not usually a good idea to start bantering with strangers. Make someone talk first to get a sense of their personality. Some people don't enjoy banter or jokes in general. Here are some additional things to think about to not get banter wrong. Number one, banter should be enjoyable. If everyone is smiling, you're probably doing okay. Don't banter unless you're willing to be teased in return. Otherwise, you'll come across as hypocritical and uptight. Who is this for? Who is this for? Banter is an integral part of British, English, Scottish, Welsh, Irish culture. So who is this for, exactly? Don't base your banter around offensive stereotypes or controversial topics. Why not? Why not? Ah, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Do you see that on the side? Banter, sexism, racism, homophobia, and there's no overlap apparently. Not allowed to banter about that. If your banter makes someone else upset or embarrassed, apologise for hurting their feelings. Don't become defensive. Say sorry and move on. Not the person getting overly sensitive and having to move on from the banter, because it is literally just banter. It's harmless, but you know, whatever. Here's an example of banter between two good friends, Tim and Abby, who have known each other for a long time. Tim, seeing Abby's new very short haircut. Whoa, what happened to you? Did you cut that yourself, or was your hairdresser half asleep? I don't think I want to take advice from someone who doesn't have any hair. Body shaming. Men. That's alright though. Totally fine. Tim squints at Abby. Come on, I mean that cut isn't even symmetrical. Abby, there's a thing called style. Tim, I can send you a few articles about it if you like. That's it. We have to understand the context as well. This is a high security prison environment with staff dealing with some of the most dangerous offenders in the country. What I can't get my head around is they're either taking the piss out of the DEI training, which obviously I'm all for, because unfortunately we're being forced. Every public sector job, every private sector job, every single person is being forced to take these tests across the country, and people are sick and tired of it. It's either that or they genuinely think that this is appropriate content. But it's hard to know anymore. It's genuinely hard to know anymore. This video could easily be just another rant about DEI, how DEI is bad, but I think it's important to understand the mechanisms of how DEI is being pushed forward in these big institutions. See, I'm now of the opinion, I'm not sure whether the prison is taking the mick out of DEI when you compare that particular presentation with the presentation on handling deaf prisoners. So I think it's important to ask the question whether DEI is on the way out in that respect, whether institutions are actually taking it seriously, because it doesn't look like it that they are, which is great. In conjunction with this Restore Britain investigation and what we found here, Rupert Lowe has sent a letter to the government wanting to stamp out DEI for good, because to be honest, not just the public in general, but people in their professional lives are sick and tired of these ridiculous, quite frankly, anti-white practices, training modules that are, to be honest, patronising to the British people. And so we're hoping something comes from this. But I am certain that there are training modules up and down the country, not just in our prison service, but in places we might not expect traditionally. Thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you again very, very soon.